Hello, everybody. It is Mark Holthe. It's great to see all of you once again. And today is game day. Welcome to this Canadian Immigration Live Q&A. I am your host, Mark Holthe, who is decked out in my team colors. Right here, you guys. That's where it's at, the Calgary Flames. So, if anyone has any comments to post about Oilers or anything like that, they're definitely not going to be brought up on the screen as a comment. That is for sure. So, any of you out there who are Edmonton Oilers fans, you're not going to get any shout outs whatsoever. This is all Flames all the time. And yeah, so anyone posted go Oilers, you guys are going down. Now, for those of you who are wondering what the heck's going on, we're in the middle of the NHL playoffs. And so when it's playoff time for the National Hockey League, wow, us Canadians, we love our hockey. And for the first time in many, many years, I can't remember how long it's been, maybe since like 1991, Calgary and Edmonton, and I'm going to shift over my screen here, are in the playoffs together for the first time. And today, Calgary is playing Edmonton tonight at 7:30. And boy, I was sure contemplating buying some tickets to go watch it, but I couldn't justify, even the cheapest seats were like $250 each. That's up in what we call the nosebleed section. That's way up top. So so I passed on that. So I'm going to have to wait and watch it. But you can see we've got game one here, May 18th. Calgary beat Dallas in overtime in the seventh game. They're always best of seven series. And so Calgary beat Dallas 4-3 in the previous round. And Edmonton did the same thing in their matchup. And so both of the first rounds, they were successful. So it's the first time in many, many years where Calgary is playing Edmonton in what we call the Battle of Alberta. So like I said, this Canadian Immigration Institute is now the Calgary Flames fan channel. Everybody who is coming to Alberta, the Flames are your team. And like I said, any of you Edmonton fans out there, not even going to give you a shout out. Not even going to give you a shout out at all. So with that being said, welcome. And yes, we will answer lots of questions about Canadian immigration for sure. But I just wanted, it's so exciting because Calgary and Edmonton have had a real drought for a long time. They've never really had teams that were able to advance, but now they're both really good. And so it's going to be so much fun. So much fun. All right, let's give some shout outs here. So we'll just adjust our little screen a little bit so we can get everybody in here. And just bear with me as I'm playing with my little screen to make it all look pretty. I think we got it there. Okay, good. All right, so Kay, hello to you. Ralph, even though I know you're up in Edmonton, this is the one, my friend. This is the one. And good morning and good evening to you, Divine. It's good to have you connecting in. Guten Morgen, says Amy. Good. It's good to see you as well. And Kay. And Ralph says he loves the intro. That's great. Amit down in Virginia. Great to have you connecting in as always. Zoe over in Mumbai, India. That's fantastic. I'm glad that you're able to come and watch. And yeah, it's so good. And like I said, any comments about the Edmonton Oilers are not going to make the cut. So don't even bother posting. And Jose's up in Fort McMurray. Hopefully you two are cheering for the Flames. So it's great to have you guys all in here. Okay. Ralph says it's not smooth, the live stream. Okay. So it looks like it's kind of choppy. And I know why. Let's just see if other people are experiencing the same thing. We've tried to do a few little additions and added some animations to this. And because of it, I think it's too big and it's hard for the feed to handle the stream. So for example, I created this to announce Alicia's. So this is the promo for me and Alicia tomorrow, and we've created a bunch of these but I think they're just too big. And so I apologize if, in our efforts to try to upgrade and make things better, sometimes there's just too much going on. So, okay, so Rohit says, yeah, it's buffering. Okay, so what I know everybody's tuned in here. What I want you to do, it's just too big. So let's see, what is the best way of what's the best way of doing this? Just when I try to set it up, then we get these issues. So let's see. Yes, too choppy. So's cheating. Says yes, it's a little bit choppy. Okay, so we're learning. Let me see. What is the best way for me to deal with this? Okay, it's 10:11 right now. 10:11 a.m. I am going to shut this feed down, and I am going to try to go live again across all the channels. I think when I shut this down, the ones, oh, okay. So you said, Cheatin says you can hear me clearly. I hate when, reducing the resolution can work for the stuttering. Yes. The problem is that the feed here, once I'm live, I don't think I can change it midstream. So let's just see here. Yeah, it's all locked in. So I can't change the stream once it's going. It's just so, there's so much moving on here. So I can't turn the resolution down right now, Jose. Boy, I hate when this happens. Okay. Hear me clearly. That's good. Just the resolution is choppy. Well, I'm not quite sure what to do about this. Sometimes when you shut things down, it becomes worse. So what is the best strategy here? Because once we're down this path with it getting choppy, it took me a long time. Marcel says, for me, it works great. Jama says, please continue. All right. I'm just going to leave it. It's definitely got its issues, but I'm just going to leave it because it'll be more complicated if I try to drop down and then restart. It'll just break everything. So, all right, good to go. Thank you guys for your support. Okay, excuse me. So back to the most important discussion, which is the game day. So these are best of 7 playoff series, and it's been, like I said, since 1991, I think, or something, since Calgary and Edmonton has played. Only one team is going to advance, and the reality is there are no more Canadian teams still in the playoffs. So, So one of us, it's sad because I wish that we were both teams would be able to advance and play a little bit later on. But unfortunately, Toronto got beat. And once again, they went out in the first round, which was sad. But we are back up and running with the Flames in Edmonton. And so one of us is going to go on to the conference finals, and we'll see how it plays out. So watch that. Big shout out. I got my flags back there, my Calgary Flames flags up, and things are all set. Okay, so lots of good things happening. We know now, like we've talked about before, that July is when the rounds of invitations are going to start. And one thing that obviously that we're doing within the firm is we're preparing for this. And we know that a lot of people have been holding off on even submitting profiles, but I'll be honest, now is the time to start doing that. And those of you who do have profiles in the pool, well, yes, the PNPs have been the only options available to you, at least at this stage. But in July, things will start to change. Those who are in Canada are obviously going to have the best chances initially just because of the CRS points. But as they open up, the no program specified draws, you outside of Canada are going to have your opportunities. People are going to ask, well, what is the CRS points? How many are we going to need to get an invitation to apply? We just don't know for sure, although I believe it's probably going to be upwards of 500. All right. So let's jump in, and I will start taking questions now. We've wasted a little bit of time doing shout outs about my Calgary Flames, so we'll roll with that. And as long as you guys can hear me and as long as you guys can see me, it's a little choppy, but we'll work through it. Okay. All right. So let's go back. We've got a little bit of a smaller group today, so I'm not going to, so I'll just go back and even the initial questions that were asked. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. So this person is watching on the Canadian Immigration Actually probably the Express Entry Law private Facebook group, right? So we'll shrink this down just a little bit so it can fit. So this person who's watching on the Express Entry Law private Facebook group says, I applied for GCMS notes on March the 6th, but it's been over 2 months. Why it is delayed? Lots of FSW applicants are already depressed due to long processing times. We've heard this all the time. We know the situation that everybody has been in. ATIPs are just taking a long time. They just are. And but what I'm seeing now, based on the emails, which are so cool for me, is that all of those clients that I've worked with over the past 2 years, even sometimes back into 2019, those clients now are all getting their passport requests, they're getting their COPRs, they're getting their travel instructions, like they're getting everything that they need. And the minister is working really hard to cull out and all of those, not cull out, but to process all of the FSW. So hang in there. I have to assume, now you haven't said when you submitted what your AOR is, but many FSWs are starting to see their applications now being finalized after a long time. So hang in there, but it's not uncommon for you to be waiting over 2 months to get your updated GCMS notes. So common. Why? Because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people making those requests and only so many officers that are in a position to be able to do that. Okay. Okay, so this is a good question, Eddie. Eddie, I'm going to encourage you to go through the CBA pro bono on this one. Let's see here. I'm gonna pull up this and I'll show you. I'm gonna encourage you, Eddie, if you have not, to go through here and go to the CBA pro bono initiative and get free help here, because there's more at play here than just your question about can you apply for Canadian-Ukraine emergency travel as your son is Ukrainian? Well, absolutely, your son is eligible. And in many circumstances, things can be done to help facilitate your situation, Eddie. You know, as a Ukraine residency permit, obviously you're not a citizen, but your son is Ukrainian. Well, what about your son's your son's mother? You know, what is the situation with them? And because there's a lot of different pieces, and this is something that we definitely can't address fully here, go to the Ukraine Pro Bono Initiative and click on Get Help. And you can ask questions and people will be able to give you those answers and hopefully direct you to be able to get a little bit more support. And Eddie, even in our situation with our firm, if you go here, you'll see, if you click on volunteer lawyers, you can see Alicia is right here. And we are helping people for sure. So, but go through that path so that we can connect you in through the Pro Bono Initiative, and then we can try to give you more help than what you know, obviously then I can answer just in a comment in. So it may be possible is the short answer, but go through that channel. And that's something that our firm is doing completely free. Okay. All right. Okay. Here's a good question. This one's from Danielle. If your country's currency is devaluating unprecedentedly, can we convert it to foreign currency by opening a foreign account after ITA? Is it safe? Please suggest. Yeah. They don't care where your currency is. Okay. They don't care what the currency is in. It doesn't have to be your domestic currency. You know, it just needs to be in a bank that they can track. It can't be just cash. And I've had some people say we pulled our money out because the money is devaluing and the currency is devaluating. And so we've taken it out in US cash or something. Well, cash doesn't work. It needs to be in an account. And so, but switching it over, there's no problems. Trace it, track it, a letter of explanation. And that's something I talk about a lot in my Express Entry course, just how there is flexibility within how you prove your settlement funds. But at the end of the day, the most important thing to remember is that you have an onus to prove it. And if there's any doubt about the source of where those funds have come, especially when you're transferring to a new account, you'll also want to keep track of that transaction or the transaction record showing the transfer of funds and the source. That's what they're concerned about. And then ultimately, at the time in which you submit your EAPR and all the way through when it's being finalized, you have to be able to demonstrate it. All right. And we talk a lot about that in the Express Entry course. Okay. Red Canada player suit. Well, it's the Calgary Flames, and all of you guys should know that is the team. All right, let's see. We've got a super here, so we'll jump into the first super chat here. So this one is from Sai, and Sai says, two questions. What are the chances of getting full 3-year post-grad after completing 16 continuous months master's program? It's tied to the number of years. So 2-year program equals 3 years. Anything less than 2 years equates to that amount. Okay. Can we count January 2nd to December 16th as 1 year work experience for express entry? No, you need to be able to count the full 1 year period. And it's as simple as that. You can't gain 1,560 hours in say 10 months or even 11 months and then claim it. You have to have worked a full 12 months full time, at least 30 hours a week. Okay. All right, let's jump back to our next question. This one, okay, we did that one. And good morning to you, Winston. Good to see you. Okay. All right. So I knew this question was coming, or at least one of them. So Aaliyah says, hello, Mark. Hope you are good. Can you please tell me, what do you think about the lowest cutoff CRS score for upcoming OINP human capital priority occupation draw? 463 or 460? Do you know what? It is really, really hard to tell. And that's not something that I can really provide a good guess. Obviously, you look historically at what's happening, and let's see if we can pull it up. Just pull up the human capital priority draws here, and let's just take a historical look at it. Flip over. This is good stuff. I love sharing this. Okay. So when we look at here, the invitation history, we can see back on February the 22nd, that period of time, the CRS scores ranged from 455 to 600. Okay. And as far as the invitation history, you can see it's really fluctuated. February the 8th, it was 464. We remember back in, if we scroll through here, you can see the specific occupation draws, tech draw. Okay. But it's really fluctuated. 464 to 467 was back in January as well. So it's really tough to say. It really is. And, they have the ability to sort through and determine, which, the tech draws, they identified those particular knocks. But they also did, you'll remember, a trade draw that was focused on trade positions. And so it really, like I said, it really just depends upon who's in the pool at a given time. And yeah, it's not easy. And this is, we've got here Canada Visa posting. Let's go back and let's take a look at, I'm going to flip over here and let's go here, OINP, Human Capital. And I need to probably hire, Canada Visa's tech people, their SEO guys, to help me with my website. They're obviously pretty good. Okay, let's go through here and let's look at the more comprehensive one. So this one is the actual draw dates, and so you can see the different categories. So these human capital priority stream, this one had targeted occupations, and you can see you can click to the program update page for the list of targeted occupations, but you can see 455 to 600, and then the French speaking, and then you can see they've had skilled trade streams, the skilled trades stream. And, April 26th, they just did one just last month, and you can see 300 to 461. So March and February and January, so they've been doing a lot of notifications of interest for the skilled trade stream, which is, that's a great development for people who are working in those occupations. So, but for, if you look here, let's take a look at the program update page and just see the occupation. So when we're going through here, so the French speaking, skilled trades, and then if we scroll down here, let's see, March. Okay, so the March 30th draw with these occupations, and they always list them, right? So there's a wide variety of people, including trades in here, that were all captured with that particular draw. And let's go back a little bit further. Health and agriculture, manufacturing, tons and tons of trade level. So let's see here if we can find one. International student stream. Yeah, the OINP has been busy. They've been really, really busy. PhD graduate stream. They've had a lot of different draws targeting specific occupations, but overall, it's really, really hard to for the human capital priority. It's hard to say, but I think it's probably going to be in that range, maybe a little bit higher. It just depends, Leah. Okay. All right. So the hiking rider says, good morning, Mark. You look amazing in red. Yes, big time Calgary Flames. Okay. When do we receive the AOR after having submitted an invitation in response to an ITA and express entry FSW? Okay. So if you receive an invitation to apply and you submit that, the acknowledgement of receipt is virtually instant. So it's when you file electronically, and I want to make sure I'm reading your question properly. When do we receive the AOR after having submitted an invitation in response to an ITA? So basically you are submitting an electronic application for permanent residence. And when you file that application, also something I cover extensively in my DIY course and masterclass, that acknowledgement of receipt is virtually instantaneous. Now, it may take a few minutes for it to show up, but once you file, you get confirmation of that, which is really important, especially for bridging open work permits and things like that, because the bridging open work permit is, it's that's often the pathway to move forward for many people who are in Canada if they're filing through that program. When it comes to FSW Outland, it's the same thing. Okay. Udara says, will there be an OINP tech draw in June? If the OINP draw happens before FSW in July, what will be the cutoff score like? That is a good question. Lots of people are asking that one, and that is not something that I can answer. Okay. All right. Asim says, sir, I asked you a question on Twitter. Could you please reply me there? No, I can't, because it's not showing up here. For whatever reason, the Twitter feeds are not showing up. Let's just see here if I can find, let's see here. Just give me a second. I'm going to see if I can find my Twitter. Let's see here. Bear with me one second. Yeah, I'm going to have to get you to post it right here. Okay. So Asim, I'll look for it. So post it right here on YouTube and then I'll answer it. The Twitters, for whatever reason, are not popping up here. All right. Let's keep zipping through. Okay. Tanuj says, or maybe that's a response. Hi, Matt. Well, it's Mark. Post-grad work permit extension applications are still not open. Nope, they're not. I wanted to ask you, should I apply for my wife's work permit along with my work permit extension, or should I wait for mine to get updated first? You can totally include your spouse as well, provided you can prove you're working in a skilled occupation. So this is the same for anyone who's applying for any type of a post-grad work permit. If you have a spouse, it's not good enough just to show that you meet the eligibility for the post-grad and then apply to support your, apply for an accompanying spousal open work permit. It doesn't work that way. You have to prove that you're working in a skilled occupation. So if you've got a reference letter that you can include that proves that, then absolutely you must include that. Otherwise, they will not approve your spouse's open work permit. So you don't have to wait, but you do need to prove that you're working in a skilled occupation. Knock B, A, or O. Now, that's a great lead-in, Tanush, because I am all queued up the moment that the new post-grad work permit extension goes live. That is, I will be doing a video, and I want to strongly encourage you guys not to submit your post-grad work permit extension applications. This new 18-month pilot, when it comes through, once we get instructions, do not submit it until you've had a chance to watch. It'll be that evening, probably around 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. based on how they announce it, where I'm going to identify the top essential things that you absolutely have to do to make sure your application gets approved, and some significant, well, I don't know, some critically important things that people often overlook, or mistakes that they make that have cost them their opportunity to access the program in the past. And I had a ton of consultations with people who thought it was just simple, straightforward, no issues whatsoever, applied for the previous 18-month post-grad work permit pilot and got their applications rejected, booked a consult with me, and there was nothing that I could do. So this time, you guys, I'm not making that same mistake. I am going to be very proactive with the program. So as soon as I hear about it, I will go live right here on the various social channels that you see. And the moment I do that live, I will let you know the time, because it's going to take me just a couple hours to get it set up so that I can digest what they've done and then pull out all of the things that I want to share with you so that you don't make those mistakes that large cohort of people made applying for the previous one. And let's face it, you miss out on it. If you don't have pathways to permanent residence, this could be it. It could be the end for you after spending all of this time if you can't get that work permit extension. So many people cannot afford to get it wrong. So make sure that you let people know that as soon as it goes live, to not file, but to come join us here at whatever channel you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or wherever, LinkedIn. And obviously we'll get this lagging figured out, but make sure that they come and join me that evening on the very day that it's announced. I will go through with my top tips and essential strategies to make sure you don't make those mistakes that other people have made. Okay, so make sure you share that and watch for it, Tanuj. And the moment, if any of you see or hear an announcement, send me an email, and that would be awesome if you could do that. Then let's see here. Do you know what? I'm going to just post here on the site. You can send me an email right here. All right, let's see if we can get this one on here. Bear with me. Okay, there it is. So I want you guys to send me an email right to my inbox, mholthy@holthylaw.com, the moment you hear anything about the post-grad extension. Now, in many cases, I get notified the moment that it's extended, but sometimes you guys hear about it before I do. So anybody who hears about that new post-grad extension, make sure you send me an email to mholthy@holthylaw.com. And there may just be a little reward for you if you're the first to let me know if I haven't heard about it first. All right. Okay. We've got another super. So let's see what's coming up here. This one is from Ashutosh. So Mark, looking great today. My question, I've applied for a visitor visa on May the 3rd or potentially the 5th of March. For tech conference only, and I have tickets confirmed stay. Is there any option to punch my visa application? Well, understand that you have, when you apply, the processing times, you're kind of at the mercy of them. They don't expedite anything. And so depending on what country you're coming from, this is always the pain and suffering that I go through when I'm trying to give people advice. So if you go to IRCC and then you click on processing times right here, let's just see where things are at with India. I think I was looking the other day and it seemed like it was about 2 or 3 months, but let's just see a visitor visa from outside Canada. And then we'll just go with India here. See if I can find it. Where is it? Oh, I'm looking past it. I've got my mic right in front of me here, so sometimes it's hard to see. Okay, 130 days. Oh my goodness. That is a long time. So 30, 60, 90, 120, that's a little over 4 months. So those are the current processing times in India, and it varies by country. So if we say Germany, well, you don't need one from Germany, but let's say Estonia. So if we're going to apply from Estonia, 16 days. Why in the world is that much difference? Well, it's pretty simple, you guys. It's because there are way, way more people that are applying for visitor visas and any type of temporary application in India than it is in Estonia or another country. So yes, when you have those timelines, you need to do it with as much advance notice as possible. But even if you've booked the tickets, there's no guarantee that your visa is going to be issued in time. They just don't consider anything a priority anymore, which is sad. It really is. Okay, let's jump to the next question here. Ami says Calgary Immigration Institute. Indeed, it is. Indeed. Oh, Sean. Oh, we got some applause. Oh, that's not very loud. Sean, that is so wonderful. Got my passport request. Yes. See, hang in there, you guys. Hang in there. That is so exciting. I love seeing that. Okay, Jama over in South Africa. Hello to you. And Samrat, Niagara Falls. Thanks for tuning in. Samrat's tuning in on the Canadian Immigration Institute Facebook page. Okay, and yes, anyone who's saying anything about those Edmonton Oilers are not going to get a shout out from me. Okay, Rohit, it's good to see you. Okay, all right, so let's see what we've got here. So the temp test has, I have valid work experience from an IT company. However, I have put a work experience letter stating working as a senior developer. I got admitted from a Canadian university. Okay, we got, this is continuing. But in my study permit application, I put the same work document, but the job title is junior developer. Do they contact Canadian University College to verify the document submitted? Look, the key here with all of this is you just need to make sure everything is correct and that it's accurate. And if it's not, then I always do my best to update any file that is still in process to make sure that it's accurate. If there are discrepancies, and in a previous application, and I just had a consult with someone yesterday that we talked about this, then I will go ahead and in the current one, if I feel it's necessary, I will even go back and say, hey, I filed a study permit before, I had answered the question this way, but because of these reasons, A, B, C, whatever they may be, I just wanted to let you know I've now corrected it in this one. But in that previous application, I had made this mistake because of whatever reason. So that's how I deal with that. Okay. Raj, okay, is in Sri Lanka. Sat Sri Akal. Okay. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe, hopefully it's not Raj cursing me. Okay, Ahmad over in Pakistan, great to see you, and thanks you guys for for not being too annoyed with the buffering that's going on here with this video. So I apologize for that. We'll get it sorted out. My video editor and I, Phil, we're trying to get this going, and it looks like it's just bogged everything down with the animations and everything. With that being said, just a reminder that I'll click on this. Right here tomorrow, you will see that Alicia and I at 11 a.m. Mountain Time will be back again with another live Q&A. And so if you don't get your questions answered today or somehow it skips through, we will be back again live tomorrow answering more of your questions. All right. Okay, let's keep zipping through here. Let's see what the next question is. Let's see. Okay, here's a good question. So Dean, these questions are, the startup visa is a gong show. I'll leave it at that. But he says, for the startup visa, should all team members be non-residents of Canada? Example, if the main applicant is non-resident and non-PR, but the teammates, co-founders have PR, would that be an issue? I personally don't see that. The key is that you, when it comes to the requirements that are applying, that you meet all of the eligibility components to the startup visa. If you have partners that are in Canada, well, I would like to think that in some cases with startup visas, having more connection to knowledge base or people who have status in Canada is actually going to help that business to be more successful. But you have to make sure that you, in particular, are meeting the eligibility requirements for the startup visa. That's the core thing. But there's no mysterious background, disqualifiers because of, you might have teammates or others that are involved. But you need to make sure, and in particular with co-founders, that you review the eligibility requirements carefully to make sure that that you yourself continue to meet them. Okay. All right. So Jet says, good morning, Mark. Do you believe Express Entry will move completely to NOC specific draws? Fraser recently said something about adding flexibilities. Well, right, probably 2 years ago in the budget, they had allocated millions of dollars towards modifying express entry to allow potentially for occupation specific targeted draws. And the reality is they could very well do that. Will they move completely to knock specific draws? Personally, I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I think that one of the likely outcomes is that they could say, if you have knock codes in these particular areas, then you will get maybe 50 bonus points, like you can get for French language ability. I could see that happening because it's a lot easier to do that than to completely modify the eligibility requirements to get into the program. So I think it's easier myself for them to give CRS points for occupation targeted draws. Okay. All right. We got another super in here. This is from Kavish. Okay. Kavish says, I heard that a motion has been passed in the parliament a few days ago to expand economic streams for all skill levels like TR to PR. Is it true? Well, the reality is anything that is working its way through parliament has a possibility of getting all the way through. And bills that are proposed by, excuse me, bills that are proposed by Liberal members of parliament are definitely going to have a greater chance of going through than private member bills that come through from from the opposition party or, the NDP, although the Liberals and NDP do have a pretty solid coalition. The reality is that anything that goes through has the possibility, but I can tell you there are so many private member bills that are put forward that die on the order table, that never make it through. So yes, it's there. I know it's there. They're moving their way through to try to create pathways for sure for the skills that the country feels they need, individuals at different levels. But ultimately, until we see regulations being posted in the Gazette, proposed regulatory changes, when it comes to changes to the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act, they always have to post those before they become law. And so we'll watch those. We'll watch the order papers. We'll see any discussions that are had, even within the standing committee. They've had a lot of discussion on these various topics. So we'll continue to monitor it, right? But at this stage, it's not law, and there's no guarantee that it's going to go through. It still has to be voted on and approved. So lots of people jump to all these conclusions and just assume that things are absolutely moving forward and that they will become law. And they don't, for a number of reasons, right? And right now, even with Liberal proposals, if it's a Liberal MP that's putting it forward, they still need support from MPs from other parties. And, with the NDP, and if the NDP all vote in favor of whatever the Liberals are putting forward, then there's enough votes to pass. If the Conservatives say no. But it's interesting, because I think one of the things you have to realize is that all of the political parties are pro-immigration. And, to a large extent, I think people think it's just the Liberals that are pro-immigration. That's not the case. The NDP are pro-immigration. The Conservatives are 100% pro-immigration, especially economic immigration. They may not have, I don't even know. I can't even speak for them. What the, their views overall on the large numbers of refugees that Canada brings in. I can't speak to that, but I can tell you for economic immigration, they're 100% behind it. And even with the levels plans and things like that, like they understand how important it is every bit as much as the Liberals. And in fact, when the Conservatives were in power, they created express entry. So sometimes there's this perception that somehow the Liberals are all immigration and that the Conservatives are not, but that's simply not the case. All right, let's keep moving forward here. So hopefully, Kavish, that answers your question, but thank you for pointing that out. All right, let's keep zooming through here. And let's see, next question. And I know we've got a ton of questions that have come through. We've had a bunch more people that have joined in. All right, let's see if we can get to ones. I know people were reposting their questions over and over. So hopefully we've got those answered now. Let's see here. Boy, there's a lot of questions that I have already answered, but we're working through it. Bear with me. There's a lot. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, Jacob says documents required for PR renewal. If you need assistance, I recommend that you slide over to our website, Holthe Immigration Law. This is my law firm website, and we absolutely love to work with people and help them. So you can click on the link below in the description that also has where you can come here to book a consultation with one of our lawyers. We also have another lawyer that's joining us. I'm really excited about this at the beginning of June. More news to come on that. But when it comes for requirements for the PR renewal, well, if you're asking about how to renew your permanent resident card, well, I'm not sure what would be gained by going to the checklist and reading it off for you, but just go to the IRCC website, search for, okay, well, just give me a second here. This is actually kind of funny. Okay, let's see if we can pull it up here. I'm not sure if I can actually show you this because my system is set up to not. Let's just see here. I'm going to drag this over and let's see if I can find it. I probably can't find it. I'm going to be moving a few things around here. Why not? Let's have fun. This is open season. I'm an equal opportunity person, and so let's see if I can find the checklist that I just finished downloading. I think it's there. Let's see if I can open it up and share it with you. I'm not sure if I can. Okay, so every application, just so that you guys are aware, and I think you should be. I wonder if I can change this. No, I can't. Okay, I think I have an idea. My friend. Okay, so when you go to the website, obviously this is what comes up, and then you have to download it. So I think I can cheat here and switch it over. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so basically this is the document checklist. It is if you scroll to the bottom of each page, you'll see, oh, I got it kind of shortened off there. Ah, boy, this is going to be tricky. Let's see if I can mess with the size. I can't show it. I've got my screen size and I'm not going to mess with it. Anyways, every document checklist for every application has a list of what you need. So you can see here, all you have to do is go to the checklist and pull it up and it will tell you the documentation that you need for it. So what do you need? You need a photocopy of a primary document like a passport. Okay. 2 photos placed in a small envelope and then follow the specifications and the fees. So pretty straightforward. And then you mail it off. They're working on doing an online process, but there you go. Who said I didn't try to answer every question, even when the question was pretty elementary? Okay. It's all good, but we're here to book a consult if you need it too. Okay, let's keep cruising on here and let's go to the next question. We're covering some good ground here. Let's see. Wow, lots of people who were duplicating their questions. Okay, this is painful. I hate to see this, Rohit. I applied for GSS, Global Skill Strategy Work Permit, and it has taken 6 months already. Is it okay to apply for a business visa so that I can come to Canada to attend meetings, workshops with team members? It's going to be really, really unlikely, Rohit, that you're going to be able to do that. And I'm positive that if we flip over here to the website and we go here, working, and we choose work permit outside of Canada, and we choose India right here, and we processing time 48 weeks. This actually, it was just updated. I just looked at it yesterday. It used to be 50 weeks, so it's come down 2 weeks. It was last updated just yesterday. So I know the pain and suffering that you're feeling. I know it, Rohit. And it is really, it's really frustrating because, you're doing everything that you can. But when you've got a work permit in the queue, it is highly, highly unlikely that they would grant a business visitor visa because they feel, well, you're probably coming to work. You're applying for a work permit. There's nothing, and you don't want to complicate things with the visitor visa refusal. I would probably recommend that you not go down that path, because let's say you apply for your visitor visa and the work permit has not yet been adjudicated. We know that the visitor visas, say from India, are happening quicker. You apply for a business visitor visa and that gets rejected. Well, that one refusal, and you guys know, we don't know the extent to which advanced analytics are being utilized for work permits, say in India, but we know there is something in place there. And so when it comes to getting triaged with the AI, the artificial intelligence, Chinook or whatever they're using, when it comes to the triaging, they look at prior refusals. And even if the refusal came in after filing the work permit, I would like, you can always do this. And I'm assuming, Rohit, that your company, if it's GSS, I'm assuming the company's lawyer, probably immigration lawyer, probably assisted with preparing that application for you. But yeah, I would discourage you from looking to apply for a visitor visa. You don't want to add more complicating factors, and which could then ultimately result in the GSS work permit being refused. Okay. Okay, Kay's got a good question. I made a CEC profile and withdrew it last year, September 2021. Made it again in January, withdrew it. Made in April, but it was ineligible. I'm making one more profile. Does it look bad that I made 4 profiles? Well, every profile that you actually submit, not one you've just queued up in draft, but every one that you've actually submitted will be a part of your immigration record. Like it becomes a part of it. And so, can it have an impact? Well, yeah, especially if you've got different work histories that are conflicting and information in there. They can potentially go back and say, well, okay, they submitted this. And remember, every time you click submit with your profile, you're testing that everything is true, complete, and correct. And so if they say, okay, on the 3 previous versions, they had different information, well, which one is true now? And so, yeah, okay, I'm going to click on that triangle and recommend that you slide over and book a consult with us. And so we can take a look and see exactly what the issues were and why you had submitted 3 previous profiles. Having multiple profiles is not an issue. Many people have tried for years to get through. And so after a year, their profile expires naturally. But withdrawing and then resubmitting, I need a little bit more information to see how bad it looks. All right. Okay. Okay. This is a great one. Silence. Probably all I have for you is silence on this question. Submitted profile June 1st without medicals. Okay. Excuse me. I'm assuming that you're talking about maybe your EAPR that you submitted, because no medicals or anything are required up front when you're submitting your profile. Due to COVID shutdown, with an explanation, I submitted my medicals on February the 14th without them asking what to expect and when. Your guess is as good as mine, but as I tell everybody that's even an Outlander FSW, there's no harm in being proactive. One of the challenges is ensuring that what you've proactively uploaded actually gets on the file by the time they send maybe an ADR request to you to update your file. And I've had consults with people, a number of them, where they've proactively submitted things and then the government's come back and asked for those same things. Well, just upload them all again, the ones that you've provided, as long as they're all current and valid. Okay. Okay, here's a tricky one, Marcel. This is one probably where I'd ring the bell. Landed June 22nd. Haven't received PR card yet. Had to travel outside Canada. Is passport enough to come back to Canada by private vehicle? Okay, is there any way I can contact IRCC? Have to travel a lot from work and can't take the plane without PR card. Yeah, you can travel back by card. You can. You make sure you have your confirmation of permanent residence, your valid passport. Marcel, I'm assuming that when you're traveling, obviously I'm assuming you're coming from a visa exempt country anyways. But yeah, you can travel by private vehicle back in, show your confirmation of permanent residence, that COPR. Make sure you have that. Excuse me. And and just be prepared to also provide evidence that you're just waiting for your PR card. And like, there shouldn't be an issue, Marcel, with you coming back as long as you're coming by private vehicle. Okay. Okay, Pandore says, sir, how many days wait for IRCC Ukrainian program visa? Okay, now I'm not sure if you're talking about the family sponsorship. Obviously, the Kuwait visa is well underway, and there's been over 100,000 people that have applied for it. The family sponsorship, yes, we're waiting, and we are going to be ready with information on that as soon as that comes out as well. Okay, let's see here. Keshan, good to see you. Okay. Karthik also says submitted ADR. Yes, they're coming, aren't they, Karthik? Schedule A, PCCs, remedicals, April 27th. We are only May 18th, but still no update. When can I expect PPR? I usually tell people at least 2 months. Sometimes it will come back sooner. Sometimes I've seen people come back in a month, and that could be possible, but you're well in the early stages. Okay. Okay. This one here, Pandore, I'm also going to ring the bell and say head over here to our website and book a consult so that we can sort through your question. Because as far as, I don't know what you've applied for. I don't know. As far as your question, I need a whole lot more information, my friend. Okay. Yep. So Dave said applied for CEC May 6th and no answer yet. Dave, you are in just about into the range where I would start to be a little concerned. So May 6th, 2021, we are over a year now. Dave, same thing. Ring the triangle. Have you done an ATIP, a GCMS? I recommend that you do that. And I do a ton of updates. So if a file is stalled out, often there's something going on. And if I can identify it through a GCMS note first and then proactively address it and give the officer what I know they're going to be looking for. And that's the thing. Like I take my immigration officer hat, I put that on, I replace my Calgary Flames hat. And then I look through the file as if I was assessing it as an officer. And it's very easy for me, Dave, to see, okay, I can see that this is an issue that they're having. You know, the GCMS notes will often say review required. And usually it's related to work history or something like that. And then we'll go in and we'll try to proactively address it through a web form before they even come back with an ADR, or in some cases, an ADR is additional document request, or a PFL, procedural fairness letter. Those are not fun because they feel like, hey, we're going to refuse unless you can give us a satisfactory answer why we shouldn't. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Vishvash, good to see you. Longtime follower. Awesome to see. Big fan. Received PR for my wife and myself in April. Oh. Congratulations, Vishvash. I love this. Another graduate of the Canadian Immigration Institute. Still watching lives to earn some knowledge from Mark. Shout out to the channel. Thank you so much. And those of you who are watching, I love it. Like, I'm not a person to say like and subscribe, but the reality is do subscribe. And one of the things that that reminds me, I didn't even get a chance to do this. I should have announced it a little bit earlier, but I have to show you guys something that is so cool. All right, as I flip over here to the web, and I'm going to give myself an applause here too. Let's pull off Vishvesh for a second here. What I want to show you guys is right here. Let me click on my screen so you can see it. Check it out. We crossed over 40,000 subscribers. I am so stoked. That is a huge milestone for the channel, and I want to thank all of you guys for all of the support. That is so cool. So cool. All right. Remember, our time is just about up here. Remember, tomorrow we've got the upcoming live streams, and here it is. Yeah, that's the one. I should probably add some music to that one. But 11 a.m. tomorrow, Alicia and I are going to be going live. So, all right, we've got one last super chat. We'll finish off with Reshmi. She says, is it possible to show through Chit Fund scheme? I will be paying EMIS until next 12 months and get a lump sum amount now for the proof of funds. Do I clear all debts before EAPR? Here's the thing. When it comes to debts, if you have a loan, it's not like immigration expects you to have the full principal amount of the loan to pay it off and then have the proof of funds above it. So that it's not quite like that. So you don't necessarily have to clear all the debts before you submit your EAPR, but you have to show a plan. And one of the things I teach in the Canadian Immigration Institute, the Express Entry DIY course, is a strategy that can be used to help accommodate or deal with debt and explain it in a way that an officer still gets the fact you have sufficient funds to settle. So in essence, just a quick little snapshot of that. I show that you've got at least 6 months of making all those principal minimum payments for all the debt that you have, plus the settlement funds on top of it. So that's kind of how I structure it. All right. Okay, I think we are at the tail end. I want to thank everybody who tuned in here and posted questions. I love Igor's comment here. Big shout out to him. Go Flames, boo Oilers. That is awesome. Okay, George. Okay, alumni. I definitely love you. Canadian George took the Express Entry course. I love when you come back, George. He says, what's the program called to bring parents with a temporary visa, not PR? Can you explain about it? Is it faster? Thank you, Mark. It's called a super visa. It's not any faster. It's just that it allows them to stay for longer periods of time, subject to, meeting certain conditions. So, George, as you're well aware, we assist people with these all the time, and we'd be happy to help you as well. All right. Okay. Let's keep... I'm just laughing at people posting comments. Call me on WhatsApp. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this one up. I'm just trying to see here. Yes, Andrea. Yes, indeed. LinkedIn. It's good to see you. Oh, Andrea. Yes. Oh, you guys, you know what? When I first started my practice, I was probably about 4 years in. This wonderful woman, Andrea Elliott, had a global business immigration firm. And she and her team had faith in me as a young lawyer to handle all of the Canadian business immigration for the firm. Now the firm is acquired and swallowed up by another larger entity, but it's super, super awesome to see you, Andrea. And yeah, thanks for the shout out. It sure is a fun option. And this is actually going live on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. And I have even done a separate one with Instagram as well, but we didn't quite get it set up today. All right. Great to see you. Thanks for the shout out. Okay. I think we're going to wrap it up there, guys. I know there's a lot more questions, but we're into OT here. A couple things just in closing that I want to address. One is the Canadian Immigration Institute, which obviously is the driving force behind a lot of what we do. The Canadian Immigration Institute has all of the information on the courses that we offer, the DIY offerings. You'll see here as we scroll down, awesome people. There's the Sura, he's up there. The spousal sponsorship course, it's live and you can buy it now. Next week, we are going to do the masterclass. So I held off because the subscriptions were lower for this. And so we held off, but you can still access the spousal sponsorship course. So if you've come, you landed as a PR, you want to now sponsor your spouse because you listed them as non-accompanying, or if you are someone, a Canadian citizen, permanent resident who wants to sponsor their spouse to come, this is the one for you. Same idea. It is full of lessons and tutorials and checklists and documents, samples, and all these kinds of things, as well as hours of masterclass directly with me where you can answer anything. You can get questions answered for anything that you want. Here's an overview of each of the lessons, the content, what's included. We have information for both paper-based applications as well as online filing, and I'm just putting the finishing touches on the online submission. So that's the spousal sponsorship course. So you definitely want to check that out. And then you'll see here that the next Express Entry course, it is going to open on June 1st. And so right at this moment, you can connect in and you can buy and you can and you will have access to the course material. We're gonna release it all. I think Igor said June 1st is when all the content is going to be there. Let's see, when you click on buy now, it takes you here in the same way, and you can see here June 27th to the 30th is when we are going to have the master classes, which is perfectly timed for individuals that are hoping to get the draw. Now you'll see here that there is the top 7 essential express entry tips to prepare for July. This right here, when you click on this link here, you will see that it takes you to a spot where you can subscribe. You can indicate, and we categorize so that we know what direction the content and how to tailor our content for you if you're an immigration consultant, or for those who are individuals submitting their own express entry application. And so that's why we ask those questions. As you can see within the channel, there's CPD accreditation for the course offerings that we have. So what you do when you put your name and your email address in here, you will get access to our top 7 essential express entry tips to start preparing now. You do not want to wait. You do not want to wait until June. You want to start preparing to get your profile submitted right away so that you can benefit from the lock-in period. But this process, when you click on this link, it will take you to the place where you can register to get those tips, and they will come out by email directed to you, and they are only for registered members only. So I'm not going to release them generally on the channel. So go to the Canadian Immigration Institute, www.canadianimmigrationinstitute.com, right? You can see it there at the bottom of the screen, and you can go here. And when you're here, and if we just go back right to the beginning here, so here's the main webpage that you're going to go to. When you click on Explore Courses, it drops you down here, and the Express Entry courses here. Click on Buy Now, and that will take you here. You can buy, you can get the top tips, but regardless, this is information that's going to be critical to help you navigate your way to the best possible outcomes when it comes to Express Entry, so that you're not too late, because there are definitely things that you need to address now and not delay. All right. Okay, everybody, that is it for today. I want to thank everybody for contributing and being a part of this. I love when you guys ask good questions. Good questions allow me to, well, give good answers. So without the good questions and good answers, this would not be the way it is. So thank you so much for everybody for being a part of this. And remember, tomorrow, Alicia will be here joining me. And all you need to do is show up at 11 a.m. right where you're watching now, and that live will happen. So hopefully it won't be choppy. We'll figure this out and we'll get it working smoothly. Thanks for your patience. And yeah, if you need anything, don't ever hesitate to slide right over here and book a consult with myself, Alicia, Chanel, and in June, we will have another lawyer that is joining our team. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Take care, and we will see all of you tomorrow. See you. And a quick little bonus answer, because we had one last little super chat that popped in, and I don't want anyone to not get their questions answered. Even though Reshmi is only paying a very, very small amount, I will answer this question for Reshmi. Just give me 1 second here. Here's the question. Can we do PCCs now if there's a draw in July? You can, but make sure that they're only valid for 6 months. So if you know for certain that you're going to get drawn, then go ahead. If you know that you can get your police certificate fast, then it's really not a big issue. If you can get it in a week or 2, then I don't bother until after I get the invitation to apply. That's how I deal with it. But if you think there's going to be delays, there you go. All right, now I'm done.